Hello, everybody online. Can you hear me? Chat if you can. Chat if you can hear me online. Hello, hello.
What are we pointing at?
Okay, I'm going to check my. Good. Well, just testing. Can you hear me okay from there? Those of you online, can you hear me from over there? I'm looking for a response. Could you hear me when I was talking just a moment ago up there? Usually takes a few seconds. And actually, could we get the lights turned out so we get the glare off of here? Did you hit that top button? This little top, nope, the one to the right, the far to the right. That one right there, nope, farther to the right. There's a little button at the top. Little button on the top, just press it, and it won't turn out immediately, but it'll eventually blink out. We've got weird lights here. There we go. Good. Now online doesn't have a big glare on it. Can you? And they're saying yes. Oh, good. Yay. We're making it work. Excellent. So we are online here for Coffee with the Birds. Good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Birds, to the birding tidbit portion of the event. My name is Curtis Dykstra, Parks Naturalist with Ottawa County Parks, and the host of Coffee with the Birds. Today we had our first online of the season, thanks to Rick Veldman. So a shout out to Rick Veldman and Kestrel Imagery again. Thank you. This is what things look like without him, okay? It's just a webcam on me to give a presentation, right? He has all the bells and whistles. And if you would like to support him, there's a link on our website. If you go onto our Coffee with the Birds website, you can find it there. I don't have it pasted into the comments here. Maybe I'll do that before I cut the stream here. But would love to have you support him and what he's doing here. So the tidbit presentation is an in-between. So we had a live feeder watching session. Who was there for the feeder watching session? Good number of you. And who's here for the second feeder watching session? All right, see, this is what it's supposed to be. A mixing and mingling of those early birds and the ones that like to sleep in a little bit, right? No shade, not throwing any shade. But I get the best of both worlds. I get to attend both. And so, but between, then we all get together and give a little presentation on some bird-related topic. And last time it was the photo contest, and they did all the work. The contestants got interviewed. I just sat back and watched. Now I have to talk. So now today, I like to do switching kind of topics, a bird identification topic. It's one that I did several years ago, and I'm talking 2017, maybe 2018. So it's been long enough. Maybe you've all forgotten this. If you see it again, well, hopefully you'll just reinforce it. We're going to talk about hawks at my feeder. We've got bigger audiences now than we did back then too. So we're reaching more people hopefully with this, especially online, which I'm going to take a look and see how many people do we have online. 17 people online. We're winning here. Just saying, we got more people in the audience than online. Welcome to Coffee with the Birds. When this is done, then we will go back into the other room with those that have not had the feeder watching session yet and do another feeder watch. But there will be no live stream there. So the live stream will end after this presentation. So,
Curtis?
yes.
Sorry, do you know how to turn the fan back on?
I think the lights have to be on for the fan.
Oh.
Let me know if you're getting kind of warm. If you would like, we can do that, but.
Crack a window.
Crack a window. We can crack a window. Yeah, I can do that. I can crack a window.
It's not hot in here.
I can crack this.
Since you said it, now if we get too cold, I'm sorry. Okay. So what is Coffee with the Birds? We enjoy informal time watching the feeders, eating coffee, drinking coffee, eating pastries and donuts, and enjoying community. And we've got all these sponsors, which actually I'll go over that real quick now. Thank you to Simpatico Coffee for providing the coffee. Thank you to Friends of Ottawa County Parks for providing the other drinks, the cider, the hot chocolate. The Bryan Seed Company for the prizes that we've got. And a Washtenaw Island Audubon Society for their continued support financially for feeding the birds at the feeder. But if you are a Mug Club member, thank you for your sponsorship. Raise your mugs, right? I know those of you who were in the first session did already. Now you get to do it twice, right? Thank you for your support by purchasing your Mug Club membership and getting this mug. You help this program to run, and you help it with its expenses. You help feed the birds at the feeder, and hopefully you feel like you become a part of a community here. That's what we want. And so thank you so much for doing that and playing your role in that. And thank you to, come on, there we go, to Jeannie Stoddard with her picture of the Cape May Warbler. I don't know, I haven't seen her. She is right here. You were hiding. So a round of applause for Jeannie. You stayed on the down low. I did not know you were here. Surprised me. So she took this picture in May at Historic Ottawa Beach County Park, and that is what now graces our mugs. So if you are interested in getting your picture on a mug, you can start taking pictures now and enter the contest. There'll be more information as we get later in the summer toward fall. The cutoff will be the 31st of October. So let's keep moving here. There's the mug. And if you want to be a part of the Mug Club, benefits include the mug, door prizes. You get entered into the drawing for door prizes, 2024 magnets, free hot drinks, members only bird walks, picnic with the birds in the summertime. So we try to keep things active for the Mug Club members and keep things special. We'd love to have you join. We are running low on mugs, so I'm going to see if I can do some convincing. If we can, if I know we have at least 15 to 20 people that want to buy them again, yes, it makes it worth it for us to make another order where we at least draw even on another order. So let those requests be known. If we run out of mugs, like let the requests be known, and powers that be may be convinced that we can order another. Now I'm caught online saying that. Oh,
Good to know.
Is there a stock of past mugs? No. All the mugs have been sold. So all of the past year's mugs have been sold. They are a limited edition. Tell you what, hold those things tight because they're going to just increase in value. I'm telling you. What's that? Yeah. And guess what I've been doing for the past 6 years? Holding 5 of each year. So that sometime we can maybe auction off a set.
Oh, nice.
Would there be interested in an auction of a full set of all of the mugs? Oh, all right, okay, I like to gauge that one.
And do a wait list.
Can you give us an idea, how many months do you start with each?
How many mugs do we start with each year? 100. We get 108, and then we keep a few in reserve, the 3, but then the 5 are the ones that I set aside. So then we just basically say 100. This year, we've got all 103 for sale, so don't drop yours because there are not extras to replace them.
Do a wait list.
But we should start a wait list and see once if we can, because what we don't want to do is stop people from helping sponsor this program, right? So maybe next year we'll do a bigger order right off the bat. If we have that amount of interest, we can do that. So let it be known if you are still interested. I think we had down to about 10 mugs left that had not been yet purchased. You may see more mugs back there than that, but that's because people purchased them and hadn't picked them up yet. So, okay. Moving on. There's also calendars. Hopefully you saw that as you came in. And these calendars are of the favorite photos that's chosen by the Career Line Tech Center students and the winning photos. We said, you got to put the winning photos in there. Then they chose the rest and they made a calendar, and you can support them by purchasing it for $20 each. They got them out there. We do keep a few here so we can sell them to you that way as well. But either way, you need to pay cash or check made out to OAISD. To purchase those, no credit card sales. Okay, we're not watching birds at the feeders. Now is when I skip ahead to my presentation. This was 2019 in the UP. You said no, oh my goodness, where's the cursor? There we go. No snowy owls this year. There's your snowy owl for the year. Okay. And here we go. The birding tidbit, bite-sized presentation on anything bird related. We're going to run this one over just a little bit. That's the way it went. I had to get it set up, but I think we're good. I look like I'm pretty silhouetted back there, but that's all right. I think that's all right. Birding tidbits, hawks at my feeder. We're going to go over the identification of the likely suspects targeting the birds at your feeder. Who out there has bird feeders that are being targeted now by hawks or have been targeted by hawks? See, this is a common, I was going to say problem. It's a common challenge. There's the word. Knew you'd help me out with that one. Need a thesaurus here. Challenge. It's a common challenge. And I don't like to word it as a problem because my philosophy on this, and I'll get into it because we'll get there in a moment. When hawks attack, something happens at our feeders, right? We got look at all the birds at the feeders. We're happy, we're watching. And then this guy comes in, swooping in. And what happens? The bird alarm goes off. Anybody ever heard it? Usually chickadees, titmice, the high-pitched sounds are harder to identify in space, like where they are, so they're safer. Even though they're making noises, it's safer because the hawk can't figure out exactly where it's coming from. And that is the warning that everybody should vacate the premises or hold absolutely still, right? So they leave, the birds flush, gone. Or they freeze. And we talked about this during the first feeder watching session. So this woodpecker here freezes, doesn't make any movement. And that doesn't draw attention. So movement draws attention to the predator. And so if you can sit still, I mean, you all have seen Jurassic Park, right? Sit still. The Tyrannosaurus is going to eat you, right? Okay. Freeze. So the woodpeckers, nuthatches, often will freeze. In fact, we had a flyby of something. Well, we didn't see it. We knew because all the birds flushed. And there were a few birds that were freezing in the bushes there. Actually, a couple of sparrows were doing it too. So you know that when you normally see birds at your feeder and they're just suddenly gone, it's probably a hawk that came by. It might be also a cat. And then especially when you see birds freezing, then you know something's awry. But if they don't flush or freeze, It's or else. Okay? And this may look to you like a sad picture. It's sad for this bird, yes. However, guess who else has to eat? The hawk. So when I look at this as a challenge, right? You want this bird to survive because we love all birds, right? We want this bird to survive, and in order for it to survive, it also needs food. So it's gonna be a part of the family of birds at your feeder. If we attract birds, this will happen. But to view it in this, to quote the Lion King, the circle of life here, this is part of that circle of life. And oftentimes the birds that they're getting are the ones that are a little slower, the ones that are maybe sick. So that predator-prey relationship goes on there too. And it actually can be a benefit. Predator relationships with prey is actually, there's a cost-benefit analysis there that is actually ends up good for the prey. So it will happen. And it's harder, when you get your favorite birds, like your cardinal, taken out. Maybe there might be a celebratory yay when it's a house sparrow or a starling. But it does happen, and I hope that people can view this as a positive thing going on at your feeder. You've got enough birds going on attracting to your feeder that the birds feel comfortable enough to hang out there and even endure the chance that they might be chased down by a hawk. Okay? So you got an ecosystem going on at your feeder. So,
Just hit the squirrels.
well, I don't think it's squirrels. So now Cooper's hawks and sharp-shinned hawks, that's a really good segue question. Cooper's hawks and sharp-shinned hawks are generally not built to take out squirrels. Doesn't mean they wouldn't ever. A Cooper's hawk more likely than a sharp-shinned hawk to take out a squirrel because they're bigger, but it's a red-tailed job to get a squirrel or a chipmunk. These guys are built for birds. They're built to chase birds through the woods. One thing about them is that they've got really long tails compared to the size of their body. That's a rudder, okay? So when you're flying through the woods chasing birds, you want a nice rudder so that you can turn on a dime, right? You've also got shorter, stouter wings than a soaring bird. These guys can soar, yes, but they have more rounded, broader wings that they can maneuver through the trees with. So they're built for speed, they're built for maneuverability to catch birds in the woods. So we've got sharp-shinned hawk and Cooper's hawk. These are oftentimes mistaken for each other, and rightfully so. They look a lot alike. And so I'm going to hopefully add a few things to your repertoire of how to identify these birds so you know when one visits your feeder which it is. The one on the left is the sharp-shinned hawk. The one on the right is the Cooper's hawk. First, range. The blue is breeding, and then this kind of aqua color is year-round, and then the yellow is non-breeding, so where they go to in the winter. You can see the range of the sharp-shinned is more further north. It goes all the way up into Alaska. The range for nesting is actually northern Michigan and north. It's a rare thing to have them nesting in our area here. They're usually winter or migration only here. Whereas Cooper's hawk, we are actually right in there year-round. We do get them year-round. And this line is actually shifting north. All bird ranges are kind of shifting in that direction. So we have them in good numbers year-round. They're resident birds. So the Cooper's hawk is by and large the more common of the two, mainly because of range. So let's look at the head and the nape of the bird. Cooper's hawk has that, mean marine, brush cut look. There's a flatness to the head. It's a pull back, right? You can see the eye looks like it's a little further forward, where the eye on this seems a little bit more centered, and the head is nice and daintily curved. It's got a cuter look. This guy's got a meaner look, okay? This is such an ambiguous identification, but it's true. When you see this flat top, you can kind of see it even when he's looking at you. And this guy, look at this nice little cute, almost a dove-like rounded head. Okay? The nape also, these guys, the Cooper's hawk has a really dark cap as compared to their back. So this will contrast with this. This drawing actually shows it even more than what this picture, I like the picture better. The color of the cap is actually the same as the color of the back. See that? This picture shows it a little darker, but this is what I usually see. So darker than this or lighter than this. Or excuse me, the same as the back. What about the tail shape? Look at this nice long tail here. They both have long tails, but the Cooper's hawk has a longer and this is the Cooper's hawk here, sharp-shinned, it got flip-flopped because of the image. Look how wide and rounded, and the white tips are very broad on the tip here. They give more of a rounded, almost like a blue jay looking tail, a rounded tail, not cut off with right angles. If you look at the sharp shin, it's more right angles and straight across. And there's not nearly as much white in the tip here either. Okay? So this is really important, especially when you identify them as they're flying, which I'll show you some pictures of that in a little bit too. But nice broad and rounded versus 90-degree angles. Their legs. Let's turn this guy around and you can see his legs. What do you see as a difference between the legs? They're both yellow. The size of them. Look at this. These little skinny pencil legs. Look at that. They're really pretty dainty, aren't they? Look at this. That's some sizable leg, right? So all of these are puzzle pieces to help you identify these two apart from each other. And I haven't even gotten into which is an adult, which is a juvenile. We'll get to that too. But the legs, body size. You say, well, they look alike, right? No. Look at this. It's taken on the same spot. So you can see this is a Cooper's hawk. This is a sharp-shinned hawk. Now this is a female Cooper's hawk, and this is a male sharp-shinned hawk. So the smallest of all of them is the male sharp-shinned hawk. The largest of all of them is the female Cooper's hawk. Females bigger than males, always, with each species. So, but this shows the contrast of how much size variation there is. If you see one that's about the size of a robin or a blue jay, guess what? You've got a male sharp-shinned hawk. So the sexes of the males are about, well, excuse me, the females are about a third larger in general. And their length is 9 to 13 inches, so just over a foot, depending on male or female. The wingspan is about 17 to 22 inches, so not quite 2 feet at the biggest. The male is 3.1 to 5.1 ounces, or 87 to 146 grams, so pretty small. And with that, depending on the coldness and the weather, they generally would eat about a half a house sparrow a day to maintain their metabolism. Okay? Small bird. Female, 176 to 218 grams, would have to eat about a single house sparrow in a day. So how about the Cooper's hawk? Notice the differences here. The length, 14.6 to 15.3. So we're quite a bit bigger. There's a close overlap, just a little bit. Wings already 2 feet to almost 3 feet wide on a Cooper's hawk. And the weight, 7.8 to 14.5 ounces. That means about a sparrow and a half a day. And that's a broad generalization, okay? I did some calculations myself on the with some numbers I was given. The female is the largest of them. And the length of the female is all the way up to almost 18 inches, 1.5 feet tall. So we're talking pretty big. Wingspan of up to 3 feet. And the weight up to 680 grams or 24 ounces. So 24 ounces from 3 to 5 ounces. Okay, lots of size variation. About 2 house sparrows a day should do it, right? And when I put these pictures up there, about the size of a crow, about the size of a blue jay, or maybe a robin would be the sharp-shinned. Oops. So, and here's a nice little model here showing American robin right here. Here's the male sharpshin, okay? And here's the female coopers. So you can see the size variation. Here's the female sharpshin, the male coopers, and this is where you get the overlap. You can get overlap here, and you can see a bird and not be quite sure which it is. And then the female Cooper's hawk and a crow. So you can see the crow is pretty close in size to the female Cooper's hawk. So there's a picture of them in hand. This is me with a sharp-shinned hawk that hit the window here a few years ago. And look at this. Look at that squared off, straight across tail. Look at this nice rounded tail here. So you can even see on that. But this is a female, immature female Cooper's hawk, as opposed to that being a male sharpshin. You can see the size variation here. You can go through these pretty quick. These are Coopers, these are sharpshins. Here's that overlap. But notice the coloration. Look how dark it is here, how light it is here. It matches the back. This is darker than the back, darker than the back, darker than the back. Okay? There it is on the front. These are mature birds. And again, look at the size and curvature of the tail here and how right angled those tails are on the sharp-shinned hawk. So there's the picture again, right? Well, now how are we going to tell the immature from the mature? So the immature birds have streaks on them like this. The mature birds have that red color on them that you saw. With a Cooper's hawk, the breast streaking is very finely tuned, not blurry, but very well defined, and usually a little darker. This, for the sharp-shinned hawk, it's usually a little sloppier, not as dark. The edges are not as well defined as you see here. And that becomes readily apparent when I give you a quiz here in a little bit. So. And here's another picture of them, size comparison of the immature birds across the spectrum. You can see, again, with several samples here, how blurry the edging is on the streaks. And look at here, just how nice and defined and perfect those are on the Cooper's hawk. Okay, I love this picture. Thank you, Mark Parker. He's a local birder and took some pictures. I think he took this picture up on top of Mount Pisgah. And we do a hawk watch up there every September, late September. And we oftentimes will see both species together or in close proximity to each other as they migrate. And this is a single picture with a Cooper's hawk and a sharp-shinned hawk. This is probably a female sharp-shinned because you can see it's closer, and this might be a male Cooper's hawk. You can see the nice, well-defined streaking here, a bit of a bigger, wider tail with a big, broad, wider stripe here. Look at how right angled the tail is here and small. Now, the other thing is, in flight, you can draw a straight line across here pretty much. And this head just pokes way out, okay? So it's like this, okay? Head sticks straight out. Look at this guy. If you draw a line from this wrist to this wrist, you're cutting off a large portion of the head because they're kind of like this. And sometimes they can look like the headless hawk flying because their head is so tucked into their into the nook there. You see this nice rounded shape in here. So that's a really important identifier when they're up in the air. Okay, so how do I protect my birds? Well, safety and shelter. So you want to give your birds a fair chance, right? Okay, fair chance is to build a shelter. We've got this as our brush pile at the nature center here. So all the feeders are right behind where I'm standing, and I'm taking a picture of the brush pile here. Imagine you're a bird. I always say, think like a bird. Okay? Think like a bird. If you are that sparrow, and you know there's a Cooper's hawk that's very likely going to come around and nab you, what do you want to make you feel safe? You love the smorgasbord of seeds there, right? What's going to keep you there? A place to hide, really close to your feeder, right? If you've got a feeder out in the middle of a huge field with nothing to hide in, are you going to go to that feeder? No. You need something to escape to, your escape room, right? So this is that. And it may not look like much from this side because we tried to beautify it from the front side with these hemlock trees and such, but take a look at it from the back side. That's what the birds are seeing in back. Okay, there's the nature center. Look at all the brush piled up there. Nice spaces for them to get in, little cavernous areas. It doesn't have to be as big as this, but something, even a Christmas tree to put out there is gold for them. So build a shelter. The other thing that I say is hawks have routines, so give it time, okay? They come around to feeders with some regularity, but when they are too regular, the birds are onto it. And then they become harder and harder to catch because they're ready, right? So they'll abandon a feeder for a while and go somewhere else, and maybe they'll come back after another couple of weeks or so. They try to vary where they go. So it's an unusual thing if a bird comes every day for the whole winter. They might visit your feeder for a while until those birds are really onto them and then move on to somewhere else. So time, it takes time. If you really feel like you need to, you can take your feeders down and the birds will move on. All the birds will move on then. So, are you ready for a little ID quiz before we end this? I gave you just enough, fast enough that you're going to be dangerous with this. Okay, we're going to flip through these pretty quick, but if you're going to say Coopers or Sharpshin, then you got to say why. Coopers or Sharpshin? Oh, I hear both. First of all, okay, is this an adult bird or an immature bird? What color do you see here? This is an immature adult. You see the reddish coming in, but you still see some streaks here. But these streaks then, are they really well defined or are they not? No. How about that head? Is it that nice slick back? Yeah, it's kind of brown and round, right? The yellow eye actually helps you know that it's an immature. The red eye means mature. The legs here, kind of hard to see. But I think we got enough to say this is a Sharpie. Sharpie. You'll get better as we go. I got a few of these, so. How about this guy? That was, wow, pretty unanimous here. What is it? What did you see? The feet? Shred head? Is that what I heard somebody say? Yeah, look at that. You can just tell he's a bigger bird, right? And he's got this kick back on the head. He's got the big talons and feet there. Yes, we got a Cooper's hawk here. He looks mean. What do you say? Tail is what? Tail is round with lots of what? With lots of white. That's a really good clue on this bird. Look at this. The black what? The black head compared to the body, yes. And it's a little flat there too. And he's got that mean look, right? And this is a nice mature bird. You can see the red in the eyes. And look at the talons. He's got nice big feet. So we got a Cooper's hawk. You guys are going to be experts. Love it. Okay. Coopers or Sharpshin? Adult bird or immature? Adult. Full adult, right? You got the reddish eye. You've got this reddish on the front. Coopers or Sharpshin? Sharpshin, I heard. Why? Rounded head? Smaller legs? If only you could tell what, I think this is actually a house sparrow. So if that's a house sparrow, you're telling size here, right? Nice skinny legs. Yeah, you got a Sharpie. See, you guys are getting good. Oh, in flight now. I hear Coopers. Why is it a Coopers? Oh, listen, everybody's got the answers. Look at the big rounded. He's missing a tail feather here, but you can tell it's big and rounded. What about these streaks? What does that tell you? They're real fine streaks. So this is an immature Cooper's hawk. And look at that head. sticking out from the rest of the wings. Remember how I said that? Straight line across here cuts his head off. Okay, remember that. Cooper's Hawk. Photo by Mark Parker. I credit him in here. He sent me some of his best photos of Coopers and sharp-shinned hawks. Okay, how about this one? Sharp-shinned. What do you see back here? You got it kind of angled, right angles there, right? Look at this nice curve here. If you were to lower his wing, where would his head be? Right in there, right? Is this a mature or immature bird? Mature. Red eye, orangish red on the breast. You can just kind of tell. That's a small bird in that picture. Yep, Sharpie. Okay, you guys, impressive. I think we got just a couple more. Call it out. The hair bow. What would you say is head? Is it nice and rounded or is it flat and brushed back? Yeah. Look at these talons here. Sticks or are they hunky? And look at the rounded tail here. Yeah, we got a Cooper's. This is the best way to learn them. Like I can teach at you all day long about all the little intricacies, but until you start seeing them in the environment, that's why I have so many of these. Hopefully this builds your knowledge then. So what is this guy? Cooper's Hawk. I hear a resounding Cooper's Hawk. We've got thin streaking, real well-defined streaking. We got this nice rounded tail here, kind of kick back on the head. This is an immature bird. Coopers. And remember now, which is my last one? Is this my last one? I think we're getting close. Sharpie. Just look at those little skinny toothpick legs. Nice, cute, rounded head, right? This is definitely a Sharpie. And look at the streaking on this thing. It's really blurry streaking. Okay, I might have one more here. This is, oh, we got the hidden bird. Because oftentimes this is how you see them. Okay? We got a Sharpie answer up here. What, sir? Do you say calls it a Sharpie? What do you think? There's one really well-defined feature on here. Do you see it? The tail. Look at the tail. It's down 90-degree angle, up, squared off tail. This is definitely a Sharpie. But look at the color here versus the color here. Same color. Doesn't have that dark cap. It has the little rounded head. We've got a Sharpie hiding in the bushes. So if you want more resources to learn how to identify them, you can go on to places like Project Feeder Watch. There's some blog stuff on there. There's some identification stuff on Project Feeder Watch. Great Backyard Bird Count also has some resources. If you just type in Great Backyard Bird Count, Cooper's Hawk, you should come up with it. All about birds, of course, and you can look up pictures of each of the species and compare them. eBird is a place to record it, but you can see where birds are seen at different times of the year. Lots of resources out there. The Merlin Bird ID app is a good one too. So if you get a picture of a bird, that might help you to tell between the two species. It does make mistakes though. That's why I tell you how to do it with your own really smart minds, right? But this, I love this photo by Jay McGowan, which is on his blog page there. What's this one? Sharpshin. What's this one? Cooper's Hawk. Yeah. What a picture. What's that?
Is that really together?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one picture. They were sparring, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Pretty incredible picture. So I know that I am overtime here. So I'm going to wrap this up. But we need to do a Mug Club door prize. Can I have somebody bring the door prize thing up to the front? I don't know if anybody's listening back there. Hey, Linda, could you have them bring the door prize thing up to the front? Oh, she got it. Rita heard me. Because what we have over here are some prizes for our Mug Club members. We've got a puzzle, 500-piece puzzle, backyard birds, and a cedar feeder from DeBrine, donated by DeBrine, along with some seed to go in it. We're waiting on it. Let's see, we got some okay, so Carl and Judy are saying they have a Cooper's hawk hanging around for the last week and a red tail in the area. So that brings up a point too. Red-tailed hawk and red-shouldered hawks can sometimes visit feeders. It's just these are the two that are the most common. They're accipiters. It's a type of hawk. We got buteos, which are the red-tailed hawk, the red-shouldered hawk, those, and then accipiters are built for in the woods, like I was saying. So, all right, thank you. These are all the whoops. That one
By the
back.
way,
We're gonna pull. So
Are we supposed to put those in there?
no, we printed your names
Oh,
and
okay.
put them in there. So for the first prize, let's do the puzzle. Okay, I've got a name here. Lynn Rutan.
oh.
Is Lynn here? She's not. Well, we will make sure to get Lynn her prize. Now for the feeder and bag of seed, drum roll, please. This is a grand prize. Okay, I think I got one. Tim Meletic. And you know what? By it being written on here means you came in today and bought your membership. Aren't you glad you did? Congrats. Yes, thank you for your sponsorship of the program. Thank you for attending the live stream here, Coffee with the Birds. And the last slide here is see you February 17th. Those of you online and those of you who are headed out, we'll see you February 17th. Oh, one question. Karen Anderson here. Yep. February 17th, we'll get back together. The birding story will be winter birding in the UP. I'll talk a bit about that. This is my birding story edition of Birding Tidbits. So we'll see you then. Those of you who are going to do the feeder watch, transition into the next room, and I'll go a little overtime with you since I don't want to cut you short from time. So, those of you online, thank you for joining. I hope you've had a good time. And I'm going to cut this live stream here real quick. And we'll see you next time. But thank you so much for making today a success.